Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of Magnificence. I am here, as always, as your Dungeon Master G. As many of you also may know me as the Nightmare King. I'm embracing it. I love it as a nickname. I'll take it. It's true. It's true. It's very true. I'm very excited to have you back, as well as I think all of our players are very excited to have you back. Just a lot of excitement going around constantly playing this game. We're having a lot of fun, and I hope you are too. We will get right into it as we continue, like I said last time, into Act 1 of the campaign proper. Many mysteries and villains abound, and many foes to face, and many things to uncover. I am very excited to see where things lead and see what kind of decisions our party is going to have to make in the very near future. As always, before we get into it, I want to give a thank you to Sarsen Games for writing the source book, which we use in this campaign, Oracles of Agra, which provides all of the gods and a couple of the homebrew subclasses that our players use in this game. Again, please check them out and show them some love. This campaign has a bit more life in it due to their fantastic writing. Without further ado, I will go ahead and launch right into our recap for our last episode. We pick off in our last session with Sage, Kuvos, and Olwen faced with the task of draining the fire starter strange mutant creature of blood to supply for antidotes for the people still infected with the poison from the original attack at the grand funeral. As well, doing some general investigation and contacting Olwen's contact within the Crafters division to do so. Olwen taking the lead, very experienced in the art of skinning a kill, investigating animalistic bodies, a hunter at heart, definitely, effectively butchering it, taking it apart to investigate its inner workings. The crystal clusters seem to grow from within, warm to the touch, but the warmth quickly leaving as the life left the creature's body as well. The bones were plenty, too many. Not bones that one would expect from a creature of this type. Some that did not match its origin, some that were just displaced, loose, not part of its skeletal structure. The metal helm was joined to its skull and could not be removed, whether it had grown like the crystals or fused together at some point after someone put it on the creature. With many, many more questions still unanswered, another one appeared. Where Duke Leto had originally found it in the first place, and whether it could be related to the monsters in the northern part of the Empire emerging from the sea. For the time being, no more information could have been gathered from the body, so our half of the party decides to effectively burn it. Knowing that the fire could easily get out of control in such a tightly packed area as Rot to Throw, an effective use of several different cantrips means the party is able to effectively burn the body without spreading throughout the entire building, thus getting rid of the rot and hopefully keeping people just a little bit more safe. With the body now burned, the party reconvenes outside of the warehouse, and the 6 of our party members return to the Moon Molten Vardo, gifted by the 2 young siblings who were effectively saved from their own actions due to the party's involvement. Olwen receives confirmation his contact will fulfill his request, Kuvos checks in with his magister, and Alina receives a response from the Dame of Thorns, inviting herself and the party, should they wish, to have a meeting with her whenever the city opens up again. Sage tells the party of her mentor, and Olwen and Kuvos are a bit interested in speaking with her, seeing if they can get some of her expertise in some matters to themselves. But, however, she can't be found due to being off, causing general chaos within the city, as is her way. Thus, everyone settles down for the evening with Suda, quote-unquote, taking some time to watch the night sky, feeling something attached to her back, an itching sensation, weighing down her shoulders, but when she turns, it is no longer there. And Suda awoke in the morning. Caradwin's West was haunted by vivid dreams, a foggy sea staring into a wall of black smoke, being underground in a casket, a voice calling out for her, and Caradwin answering the call when it asked her, "Whom dost thou serve?" The morning brings new opportunity, as the Rat's Maze is now open. The higher city is open to our party. People can leave the city. There's many opportunities to be had. So, with quite a few paths for adventure, mischief, and general chaos on our party's plates, we will go ahead and begin our session proper. So, where we left off last time, it was kind of dubious where everyone was going, what everyone was doing. I have a list myself for kind of what we discussed last time, but also if there's anything else anyone wants to add on, feel free. So far, what I have is Alina is going to go see Dame Cersei, aka the Dame of Thorns, and anyone else who cares to accompany her may go as well. Sage and Olwen wanted to go pursue and find Magda, hoping that she would return in the morning from whatever nightly adventures she was embarking on. Kuvos has a mission given directly from the Conclave that he has to pursue. Whether or not he wants to share that mission with anyone else or bring anyone with him is up to him. Any other big events? We need to speak with Duke Leto, I remember, and I believe that was an all-party thing.
Correct. And Elena probably wants to stop by her house at some point before too much longer, just to say, hi, I'm okay.
Yes, absolutely. So most of these things, actually all of these things except for Magda, because we don't know where Magda is in, like, the upper city. So are all of you just as a group kind of heading there and then splitting off, or does anyone else have anything else to do here in the lower city? Kind of, what's the vibe?
I will say finding Magda is the lowest priority on the to-do list for Sage, because as we've stated before, if Magda needs Sage, she'll find her. So.
And you can leave a notice with, because you know the inn where you and your group is staying. You can, like, let them know, hey, if Magda shows up, can you let me know some way? Or, like,
I'm going to be in the upper city today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And Suda's gonna go find LD and collect her reward from the bounty the previous day.
Before we leave the lower city, Olwen's just gonna take like a cursory look around to see if his Steel Bones contact has gotten back to him or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of keeping a general ear to the ground. No couriers bring words to you. You have to assume that the message was received because that is quite literally their job. But as of this time, no word has been spread. No word has gotten to you, at least.
Okay.
So are we all heading as a party and then splitting off to do various tasks? Suda, are you splitting off before going anywhere else to find your partner, quote unquote?
She will stumble out of the caravan wagon, kind of look at it curiously, like, what the... because she hadn't experienced the bigger to larger aspect of it until she steps out. And throw on her jacket as she goes. If she runs into anybody, that's one thing, but if nobody is in her way, she's just gonna go.
I'll watch her go, but I won't say anything.
Okay.
I've been awake for a little while.
Ever vigilant.
That's me. I would like to get a change of clothes before heading into the upper city, feeling a little dirty at this point, so stopping by Zara's. I'm sure I keep a stash of clothes several places throughout the lower city, so just making sure I'm tidy, shaking the dirt out of my pockets, those sorts of things.
Oh yeah, very meager supplies like clothing, food, things like that. Absolutely, Zara can provide no issue. So yeah, you get a fresh new change of clothes, clean yourself off so you are fresh and clean and ready for the day ahead.
I think Kuvos would be up early enough to see Suda go. He's kind of on the fence about what the plan is here, especially since everyone has their own things that they need to tackle. He doesn't know when or where the group is planning to reconvene. So I think he's gonna, if no one else is awake yet, he would leave kind of a note to be like, hey, can someone just like let me know what the plan is? I have to go run an errand, but I'll be back. Or would, if everyone was waking up, would kind of be like, so what is the plan as far as reconvening? I know everyone has their own things to attend to.
Actually, so I just considered that Suda has no idea what transpired, so she doesn't know any of the plans either. So, to satisfy both of us here, Kuvos, Suda will run into you as she's exiting the wagon.
Oh.
Ugh.
Morning.
This one yours.
The wagon? No. Gods no. We got it off the children. They handed you the key, didn't they?
Just blank, like... Right. Where are you out this morning?
Well, I have an errand I need to run for, that I was sent here for, before the upper city was closed. Where are you going?
Oh, I turned in the bounty yesterday, so I'm going to collect my reward. I don't know if it's your kind of place, though.
Well, most of this place doesn't seem like my kind of place, but it would be easier, not traveling alone, would it not?
Are you saying you want to come with me?
I mean, if you don't mind. I don't entirely know what everyone else is planning, but at least that way the two of us can come back and find out.
Very well. Just try not to... You're going to get dirty.
He takes off his overcoat for a moment, and looking at it, there is still a very pointed blood stain on it from when he was stabbed by that guard. He has had no time to clean it, and he himself, I don't believe, has prestidigitation. So he himself does not have a way to get rid of it. So he kind of just shrugs and says, I think it's a little late for that. I took on Suda's accent, hang on. I think it's a little late for that. I'll manage.
Alright, Kanpon, let's go.
He kind of furrows his brow at the nickname, but then just kind of walks after her.
Amazing. Great. First thing in the morning, Suda and Kuvos take off to handle their respective errands. We have Sage, Olwen, Alina, and Caradwin remaining. Anyone else partnering off or going off on their own? What we're doing for the day?
Elena is the sort to...
Before important things happen, Olwen doesn't have money, so...
No, I was just going to
sorry.
say Elena is the sort to probably not really get up until she hears other people moving around that wake her up. But once that happens, I do need to go home, collect some things, change out of these ceremonial bits. If anyone wishes to come along, I can probably arrange for breakfast. Make a mean French toast.
You know where we can find Duke Leto, correct?
I know where his home is in the upper city. I don't know if he's there, but if he's in town, that's probably his home base. That's where I would send word if I wanted to speak to him.
I'd appreciate the chance to accompany you if we could locate him. At the very least, that's a starting point. I think Sage has dropped by her own wagon that we had talked about was probably being stored in the same building and has had a change of clothes already. Probably a very similar outfit, long skirt, blouse with billowy sleeves. I think she's probably switched to some kind of a shawl or something in the morning, a little colder in the morning compared to the afternoon and evening of the previous day, so... she is already cleaned up and such.
Olwen is checking the moss around the carriages to see if any of it's edible.
Yeah, make me a nature check.
Alright, hell yeah.
He's got to get some
The important
breakfast in,
shit.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18.
18. Yeah, you find some like this wagon has been parked for a little bit, and you find some that's like growing up some of the spokes of the wheels, and you do recognize it as it is definitely edible. It's not a lot of people's first choice, but it's nutrition.
I think everyone sees Olwen like outside the carriage picking something off of the wheel and just straight eating it.
Amazing. Yeah, beautiful. I love Olwen. This time of the morning, especially since it's getting closer to winter, I'm assuming you guys are up like 7, 8 a.m., like early enough to like kind of get started with your day. The sun doesn't actually fully start rising until like 11 a.m. and it doesn't actually get bright until about noon. So you guys are still in like darkness, but you're all used to this. This is just the winter weather. You get like 6 to 8 hours of daylight this time of year, and that's it. You can't really wait for the sun to be up in the sky. So we have 2 people heading off in the dark to the upper city. Alina and was it Sage going with, and Caradwin?
Yes, I assume, leading out of the Rat's Maze in the lower city into the upper city, there's probably like a primary road gate type area. Not having a city map is fun. So I think in that case, Caradwin would say something to Alina to the effect of, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you at the gate. I'll come find you at the gate. I have some things of my own to take care of, but I'll meet you there in, half an hour on our way out. And that's when I'll go, I think, swing by Zara's and maybe try to pick up some work too. I don't know. I haven't had a job in a little while, and I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Sears Morning is like I said, it's one of it's on like the northernmost coast. So it is like a coastal city. So the bulk of the like Rat's Maze and like middle class areas where like majority of the people are living are like on mainland. There are a couple of large kind of island formations just a bit off the coast, like a 15-minute boat ride, and that's particularly where like Upper City is just a quick bit across the river essentially. So it's getting a ticket for one of the like little ferries that carts between the islands, going over to the upper city. Olwen, I believe, because you wanted to speak with Magda, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Are you sticking with Sage until Magda can be found, or are you going off and doing something else?
I don't want to go to Elena's house. I don't.
There's a lovely garden.
It'd be fun. Out of character. It would be fun to roleplay that.
I think Olwen is going to head up into the upper city, but a little separate from the group. What I want to do, because I have to wait to like see if Magda pops up, is I want to find a rooftop that I can hide in, like one that doesn't seem like a lot of people go to, and I'm just gonna start like people watching and like reading their
Yeah.
lips to see if I like just happenstance
Yeah.
grab any information.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're just gonna hang out until they're done with their upper city shenanigans, so then you can catch Sage and find Magda. Essentially.
I'm gonna
Okay.
like eavesdrop on like people at the upper city to see if I find anything
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Just roll perception for me, and we'll see we'll see if you get anything.
May I use my passive or do I have to roll?
I'll say, since it is actively what you're doing, you're hanging out and actively eavesdropping, you will roll.
Okay. Ooh, okay, that's okay. That is 17.
17. Yeah, not bad. Okay, yeah. We'll get to your people watching eavesdropping in a bit. Let's go ahead and start with the ones who took off earliest, Suda and Kuvos. You two make your way through the sort of mainland area of the city towards the northernmost coast of the city. Catch a ride on one of the ferries. It's like a silver each to catch a ride. And coast for about 15-20 minutes across this freezing, slightly choppy river here in the very early morning. There's a bit of fog kind of hanging over the water, and the only sign of life of other people out here is you see occasionally bright lanterns on other boats drifting by far away, maybe some fishermen who are out early in the morning to get some work done. But it's a relatively calm ride going up there. Everyone is a bit on edge since the upper city just recently opened once again, but if it's been cleared, it's been cleared, so you assume it's safe enough. Entering into the upper city, I would say for Kuvos especially, considering you have never been here before, the different worlds of the upper city is so apparent. The Rat's Maze and the extremely poor districts and the more middle-class district and the docks, all of it, they all had just... everything had like a layer of grime to it, both in a literal and like metaphorical sense. Everything was downcast and downtrodden. People were in the worst of their lives there. People were barely hanging on to livelihood. Here, people walk around without a care. You see, people wear extravagant garments of multicolored materials, shiny jewelry and headpieces and headdresses and headscarves, all kinds of tall, pointed hats and extravagant jewelry that jingles as they walk. The fashion here is extremely different from what you see. These people dress for walking 10 minutes out on the streets to be seen in their absolute best and then go home. These people would not last a second out in the actual world wearing the kind of clothes that they're wearing. It's just a sense of I'm better than you that you haven't really experienced before. In the Conclave, it was more of an academic sense. Here, people look at each other and you can tell just from a look, they believe they're so much better than everyone else, down to the tiniest drop of blood about them. Everything that they are, their physical being, everything they embody is just so holy and extravagant, and it's a bit unsettling. You're not sure you like it here. Honestly, you don't really see how anyone could like it here. Nonetheless, the two of you enter the upper city proper, and make it merely a few feet down these carefully laid cobblestone streets before Suda. You feel a tip-tap on one shoulder, turn and there's no one there, and you see Little Dragon appears on the opposite shoulder. Seemingly been waiting for you this entire time.
Oh, there you are.
About time.
And we'll give like some sort of
Elaborate bro handshake.
elaborate handshake. Yeah, bro handshake that we developed between us.
Yeah.
That the lockdown thing was super crazy, yeah?
I know. Hey, at least I got the good fortune of being trapped in here, and you got the misfortune of being trapped in that place.
I know. You're gonna have to. You owe me a pint for that.
Yeah. But for now, let's start with this. And she fishes in her like little side bag and takes out a coin purse and tucks it into your hand. Here's the half that I got. And she hands you 250 gold pieces.
Very nice. No trouble with the bounty once I stepped off.
He tried to make a run for it when all the chaos happened. I broke his nose a lot and broke his ankle a little bit. So he's a little bit broken, but still in one piece, you know. Who's this? She says, looking over to Kuvos.
That's my little dragon. This is. I'm trying to figure out how to best insult. This is some conclave rep that has attached themselves to my hip.
Well, thanks a lot for the proper introduction of Kuvos Nemenath. It's a pleasure.
You see she has a bit of a tight smile on her face, but holds out a hand nonetheless to shake yours. Kuvos, you see a tall woman with dark like copperish skin, and like really kind of shaggy black hair that's like mid-length, been cut into sort of a mullet style with the bits above both her ears kind of shaved and cut short. She has the most noticeable feature, definitely, is the large burn scar that covers about a third of her face, neck, and shoulder. And you can assume goes down across the arm, back, and chest, but her armor is currently covering it. She shakes your hand, very callous, strong hand. I'm Gen Warren. Good to meet you. What are you doing here?
Oh, just here on a little business, but...
isn't everyone.
We ran into each other in the rat's maze, and I figured it's better not to travel alone in a place you don't know.
Yeah, she says, giving you a very obvious look up and down. I wouldn't really want to be walking around this place by myself if I were you either. So good decision. This one can keep your head on straight.
Well, it'll be much appreciated.
Don't worry, I will do all the babysitting.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm not that young. I may be short, but I'm not that young.
Don't worry.
Just-
It's use it as your best weapon. Make people underestimate you, and then whatever it is you do, Kuvos Nemenath.
Anyway, I've got other errands to run. Is there any other bounties I should be on the lookout for?
Yes, I was going to mention. I need to take a few weeks. I got a letter earlier. There's a few things I have to attend to. So feel free to continue. I don't have anything else for you in terms of any open bounties. Feel free to continue. Contact the crawlers if you want someone else to accompany you. I've got some shit I've got to take care of for a few weeks. But I will send you a letter afterwards if you like, and we can kind of pick up where we left off if you're available.
Sure. Is everything okay?
Oh, yeah. You know how it is. Just, sometimes you got shit you gotta handle, and I got shit I gotta handle, I guess.
I feel that I know this person very well, and while I'm not very great at insight checks, I'm still gonna roll one, because...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nah. I'm
Did you
just
roll
gonna...
total?
Oh, 1.
Oh,
Oh no!
You think that she is absolutely 100% fine?
Then you be safe, have fun, don't die, and come back and we'll grab that. We'll grab that pint when you get back.
Yes, Mom. I'll bring my coat too and pack my lunch. You be safe as well. I'm gonna go crack some heads together. Glances back at Kuvos. Good meeting you as well.
Nice
Good
to
luck.
meet you too.
And she turns on her heel and kind of tightens some of the straps for a sword she carries across her chest, rolls her shoulders back, seems to kind of like shake it off, and quickly and quietly weaves into the crowd and disappears from sight. So Genmoran takes
Yeah.
off, but you now have your half of the pretty large payment from that last bounty you turned in.
Which I have a goal in mind. Where can I find Sir Nashana?
Excellent question. Let me pull this up real quick. Sir Nishana is a bit flighty, no pun intended, you know why. He mainly operates out of Mardeau. He has a place there that he lives and works out of. He does travel a bit, but he's not really centralized here in Valensun, so you'd have to travel to go see him.
Yeah, bummer. Okay. Then I will stop by a courier on our way to whatever Kuvos needs to do. And hash out a message essentially asking for any updates. Is there any amount of gold that I can throw at the problem
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just checking in.
to grease palms or fund research, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to find a solution to my problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you send off the letter, just checking in. And just for all parties to have something to keep in mind, I will ask this every time you guys send a letter. How are you sending it? Via Steelbones or via outside courier, which will cost more?
What's the most secure?
Outside courier, definitely. Steelbones read everything they have in their hands.
I think that I'm going to be very cryptic
Mm-hmm.
because I think that Kato knows
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'll use the steel bones.
Okay, yeah. You send it off from here to Mardeau. I'll say it's just we'll give it 12 gold to send it out, covering traveling costs, all that. So you pay that. You easily tracking down one of the Steelbone couriers. They take the letter, you give them location, then they take off. All
Roger that.
right. Anything else from Suda before we continue on to Kuvos' errand?
I'm good there.
Wonderful. Kuvos, you know who you're meant to be looking for. You were told that his workshop, his place of business, is here in the upper city. You don't know exactly.
Okay. So I think before he even starts looking for this workshop, like I said, his coat is still covered in blood. And he does not have prestidigitation to fix that. So he's going to start looking for somewhere to clean clothing. Just somewhere where they won't ask questions, because Conclave jacket in a place not friendly to Conclave, probably not the best thing to be flashing.
I'll say the places you can see just without a roll are public fountains and like horse troughs, which are usable. You are in the upper city, however, so that's what you get for free. If you want to roll in an investigation to look further, you may do so.
No, he's not really in the mood to spend money right now. He's gonna find a horse trough and just start washing his jacket.
Yeah, you go right up to like one of these like public stables. There's like a big it's like a big line of just a big trough of water for horses to drink out of, and you kind of just wander in, going between two horses, and just crouch down and start washing your clothes here in this horse trough. Some of the horses glance over at you, like even the upper city horses are judging you. It's a weird feeling. You're kind of glad you don't understand animal speak at this moment.
Just
But
gives them a little pat.
one of them
What?
fully recoils away from you.
Beautiful. Well, he's going to, at least to make it up for them, he has shape water as a cantrip. So
Yeah.
he's just going to be shaping the bloody water away from where they're drinking at.
There you go. Amazing. Yeah. You wash your robe within this. Let me just roll something real quick.
Okay.
Very luckily enough, not drawing too much attention to yourself, just with all of the upper city residents passing by.
Perfect. And again, just a little quick shape water to essentially dump the bloody water out onto the ground.
Yeah, easy
so that
enough.
the horses aren't drinking it.
Yeah.
Shapes the water out of the coat so that it's no longer wet.
There you go.
And puts it back on Conclave side, now facing out to be visible,
Mhm.
since he is actively looking for this person on business of the Conclave.
All right.
So he'll start heading towards the docks to start looking for this warehouse officially.
Yeah. Pseudo, you watch all that craziness just happen.
Oh, I'm smirking the entire time because I love this whole we are in the most prim and proper section of the city, and somebody is essentially washing their clothes in the fountain. Like, I'm
Hey, I
loving
didn't-
this.
I didn't use the fountain people drink from.
Oh no, of course not.
Oh, I
But it's
love
still
it.
funny. It's just this
No.
like weird juxtaposition. Like,
Yeah, not the one people drink from, but the one the horses drink from. But it's fine because it's like you
I was
kept
gonna
it clean.
say,
No
the
worries.
horses are
Oh,
always
yeah, it's
fancy.
fine. It's fine. I'm
The
sure.
horses aren't drinking the blood. It's fine.
It's all right.
So yeah, I'm.
The horses are gonna have your scent now.
Oh,
Ugh.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know what
This
that
is how we
means.
get hippocampi, right? This is how that happens.
Oh, goodness.
So as we're leaving from you having cleaned your outfit, so what is your errand today?
Well, I'm supposed to check in on a shipment that didn't come through.
And what is this shipment? It's people. I bet it's people.
No, it's not people. It's Salja.
What?
It's Salja.
Suda,
It's-
you can give me we'll say give it an Arcana check.
Okay. All right. I'm at least trained in that. Yeah. My dice do not like me today. That's a 5.
It's a 5. It's a fancy potion that wizards really like.
Uh-huh. Okay. Is it blue? Is it really small?
Oh,
And what is this soja?
it helps us with spell casting.
It helps you get your wands up, yeah?
No. We use it to supplement when we need more magic. Is the best way I can. I think I'm describing that right.
Yeah.
G?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for Emma's information just to have. It's and also just out of game mechanics. It's basically a potion that restores spell slots for free. The less common aspect of it that is not a secret but isn't talked about much is how highly, highly addictive it is.
So,
So you use this as some sort of enhancement.
so to speak. But
Aha.
I don't personally use it, but some, especially in combats or high tension situations, might need it. But our shipment didn't show up, and I need to go talk to the person who was supposed to send it. His name's Ushed Grameno. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Can't say that the name rings a bell.
Well then, I suppose we might as well start asking around.
Yeah, well, the shipment, I imagine, is worth a lot of money.
From what I understand.
Mm-hmm. Considering it's such a valuable substance, I imagine. I think we may have to have a chat with some local dealers. They may have idea, an inkling, if you will, if any of the substance has made its way into their pockets.
All right. And you know where some of these dealers are?
Do I?
Should I be wearing the coat on this side when we talk to them?
I would stash that if you can.
He immediately flips it back over to the blank side.
Amazing. Who is leading this investigation to figure out where Ushed's office is located?
I will leave that to Kuvos. I think
Mhm.
Kuvos can. Or
Kuvos will let Suda lead with the conversation about the dealers, but as soon as they get leads, he's kind of taking it from there.
Okay. I asked because we can do 2 separate investigation rolls, or if someone wants to give help to give the other person advantage, we can do that. So depending on if you think one is leading more than the other, or both separate investigation, up to you guys.
I think we should do it together. Do a
Agreed.
help action. Yeah. Because I can provide the in, and you can provide the info. What am I rolling?
Is Kuvos rolling, or is Suda for investigation?
Oh,
So I was gonna ask that. How's your investigation, Winter?
yeah, it's only a 1.
Okay, I have a +6 and I'm proficient.
Yeah,
so-
Kuvos
Okay,
roll investigation.
you lead that. You lead that then.
Roll with advantage, Kuvos.
Let's stick to our strengths.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad for that advantage, because that's a 19 + 6, 25 with
shit.
advantage.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
No, amazing. It's easily enough with Suda's introductions basically to some people who know this area and know the type of person you're looking for. You are able to quickly figure out where his office is located. It is just a small building that it sounds like he just rents out for use of coordination for this shipment of Salja moving from the north to the south, going over to Understone. You are able to easily locate it. It's in sort of like a commercial district of this upper city here. And it's just a small 1-story building. Very clearly just enough for like his office and inner workings. Nothing too fancy. There is a door and a large window on the front side of the building. The curtains are closed and the door is shut tight. There does not appear to be a lot of people going in and out, but then again, it's basically just a small rented office space. You wouldn't expect there to be a lot of foot traffic.
So is the door locked?
You walk up and you try the front door. It is unlocked.
Okay. Then Kuvos is going in.
Yeah. You enter, and it's a dark space. There appears to have been lanterns on the walls that were either put out or maybe burnt out. There's not a lot of light inside at the moment. And there's sort of like a front desk area with a hallway that leads deeper into the building that you can't really see past at the moment. But there's nobody like sitting at the front There doesn't seem to be any sign of life so far at the very front of this building.
Well, that's not a good sign. Kuvos will make sure that Suda's following, and then continue past the desk and start to look through the rest of the space.
Yeah. Continuing past the desk, any light suspicion you had is immediately spiked because of the clutter that is thrown around the area the moment you get past, like, the face of the building. The hallway that leads deeper into the building towards the different rooms and little offices, it looks like something just blundered down this narrow hallway without a care in the world. Stuff is torn from the walls, little paintings are cracked on the floor. The, like, rug runner that goes down the hall is all crumpled. Continuing further in, you see the main office space that you assume Ushed was making use of is the worst of it. The door is slightly ajar, hanging off of 2 hinges. One hinge has been totally ripped from the wall, and the doorknob is slightly crushed. The actual office space is an absolute mess. Things are torn from the walls. There's a hole in the wall. Things are scattered across the floor. There's broken glass. The desk is on its side with all books and paperwork scattered about. And you see, behind the desk, is a pair of legs sticking out, laying on the ground.
Instantly, or as soon as I see the signs of struggle and a fight, the shadows coalesce around Suda at her will and essentially create that invisible armor. And she grabs her saber out of the air and holds it at the ready.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are standing in this ruined office with someone laying on the ground behind the desk.
I don't suppose that's your contact.
I don't know. And Kuvos is gonna step closer very carefully. I think he's gonna go ahead and cast mage armor on himself just to just to make sure that he's protected if something does happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so that he's not as fragile.
Yeah, of course. You step around. The figure lying on the floor is what appears to be a male half-orc, fitting the description of Ushed Grimeno that you were given before you embarked on this quest. Let's cut over to another bit of our party real quick as you discover this body of your contact. Olwen, simple enough, you get on a totally different ferry from everyone else and go to the upper city.
Do I have to pay for this ferry?
Yeah, you do your people watching. Everyone else going to the upper city, we have Caradwin, Sage, and Alina. Which one are you going to first? Because I assume you want to go to Duke Leto as a whole, or do you want to go now?
I think I would be totally fine with allowing Alina to stop by her home first, assuming that most noble people are going to be sleeping in it anyway. So Leto might not even be up yet.
Alina would insist on going to her house first, so she cannot go through the upper city in formal gear when there's not a formal thing going on. Like, that's just not done. You don't do that.
Yeah, it would be appalling if you were to do that.
Yes, no, never. You can't do that.
So yeah, House Lindaris, townhome first, followed by
the Monsansiru townhouse.
Ah, there you go. Whichever, there's so many different names. I love it because all noble houses have so many.
Sorry.
I love it so much because I've done it too. Did you not hear me say the names of the murdered heirs? Their names are ridiculous. It's on brand.
We all know G loves a good title.
I love it. So the Monsignor Townhouse. Are you going to see Dame Cersei after that and then Duke Leto, or what's the order we're thinking?
That was my thinking, was Cersei first, which is sort of more
Does
personal.
Caradwin have an opinion?
But certainly, if there are other opinions.
Caradwin does not have an opinion, no.
Yeah, I think I'd be down to trust Alina's judgment on this, for sure, just as long as we do eventually. Sage, I think, would say, well, I'm somewhat interested in meeting the Dame of Thorns as well. Making those kind of connections and such can be useful, so I'm totally fine with making that visit. And
She's interesting.
Yeah, Caradwin is not fully present, I would say. Happily, interesting choice of word. Perfectly willing to trail along, not right up with Alina and Sage, a few paces behind, pondering stuff and things, a little distracted, but certainly there is an interest in meeting the Dame of Thorns. It has been, yes, some time since I have, been in the house of anyone of that significance. Could be fun, to go back, take a little look-see. Always nice to see how the other half lives, and if there's anything worth my time there.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy enough, unless there's something specific you want to do within the townhouse. Easy enough to pop in, get a change of clothes, and kind of stock up on any supplies or money that you have stashed away. Easy enough to do, like I said, unless there's something specific you want to be doing in that townhouse.
There is one thing. So as she walks in, she gets changed, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to take a moment to just write out a quick note to my factor, the person of business who kind of handles all the money in town, other than getting some coins for myself. But I'm also going to write a note, the gist of which is that I want them to set up a sponsorship for Zara Demtor and the Labyrinth's Rest. So monthly amount of funds that are just going to flow there until I say stop.
Okay.
And just get that squared away.
I will ask...
Are Sage and Caradwin waiting outside, or?
Yeah, are we somewhere in the house, and is there anything I can take?
There's totally a waiting room, something or other.
Like a foyer.
We're in the parlor.
Yeah.
If there's like a little tchotchke or something I could lift, I'll probably do that. More out of habit than anything else. It's not a real commentary on how I feel about Alina. It's more just like, this is nice.
Yeah, and the house it's very nice in that, like, the family, that feeling of this family has been here forever, but it's not, like, personal, the space that you're in. It's very much like, this is has been a sitting room for this generation and probably the generation previous, and everyone's left a few things that are theirs, but this is not someone's, like, personal space.
If there's like a coffee table book or something, I'm just very awkwardly sitting there flipping through it, trying not to be nosy, but also needing something to occupy myself.
Oh yeah, there absolutely is. But I think this family's version of coffee table book is a really, really dense, deep dive into some obscure history piece that's, like, honestly hard to understand. It gives you a little bit of a headache. It just
Actually, I think Caradwin does watch as Sage is, like, flipping through this book, gets to a page, kind of brings it too close to her face, huffs, and pulls out a set of stupid tiny round brass reading glasses and just gets absorbed in this book.
Yeah, it's a lot. The run-on sentences last like an entire page. The author spends way too long describing, like, the architecture of a servant's like entrance of, like, this ruins from long ago, and it's like, why is there so much detail on, like, this damn doorway? It's so much. Alina, I will ask, you are putting down this note for funds to be sent to Zara Demtor.
Yes.
Every month until you say so, or whatever. What are you saying that this is for?
A sponsorship.
Sponsorship?
A sponsor,
Okay.
or like a grant.
you leave that note for it to be picked up for the sponsorship for the Labyrinth's Rest. There's some money in the house if you want to take some, just to have some in your pocket as you leave.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I'll say you're able to take, like, you grab an extra 75 gold,
That's it? Okay.
you know, just lying around the house.
That's fine.
Just pocket change.
I mean, really,
Pocket
it is.
change.
It truly is.
Yeah. It honestly is. You can eat, like, what, a health potion? Come on, guys.
Seriously.
For the record, I think because you did say this fairy was a silver, right? So I think Sage now has 14 gold and 9 silver.
And I will also say, just for like description's sake, that Elena's changed into like, she's not wearing silk and fancy anymore. It's like wool. It's still similar colors and like very clearly like well done, but she's not screaming noble person anymore. It's much more like everyday kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. You finish your business here in the townhouse, retrieve Caradwin and Sage, and Caradwin, just give me a sleight of hand real quick, just while you're sitting in the parlor.
So that's 24.
24. Yeah, you pocket like this beautiful like teacup. It's a moment of like you're served tea from like some of the attendants of the house, and it's fully picking up the teacup, dumping it in a potted plant, and then putting the teacup in your pocket. It's gone. You steal some of her dishes.
Perfect.
Amazing. But you
I just can't help
all-
myself.
It's shiny. It's pretty. You all depart from the Monsignor townhouse and continue on your way to see Dame Cersei of House Shroudmore, aka the Dame of Thorns. Now, Alina, the invitation was open to you specifically, but also any party members that cared to attend. So when you arrive to the townhouse, similar enough to yours, but much bigger and much more extravagant,
Of course.
simply because of the fact that it is of Shroudmore make. This is a home that Dame Cersei has all to herself, and her few attendants that she keeps on staff. When you knock on the door, the attendant answers and immediately recognizes you and ushers you in quickly. All three of you, takes you into a similar parlor, which, again, similar to Alina's, much more fancy. Very high ceilings and a beautiful chandelier draped with gold and silver. There are lights all about, candles and lanterns lighting up the interior of this space. It is warm and comfortable. There is plenty of seating here. It is a far cry from the cold streets that you just entered from. The attendant takes you all to the seating of this parlor and then dashes off to retrieve the lady of the house, as it were. And you're all left sitting here for a moment as you wait for Dame Cersei to arrive. Anything you guys are doing as you're sitting?
I'd like to look around for any... I assume in a house of this level of wealth, I've been in them before.
Oh yeah.
Servants' peepholes, behind a screen. If there's a servants' passage that has sort of holes for the. I'd like the potential for any sort of eavesdroppers or that sort of thing. I'd like to do a little quick perception check in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me
Get a
perception.
vibe. 13.
The room seems secure.
Great.
Alina, anything from you?
How obvious are you being about that searching, Carrie?
Obvious. I am
Obvious.
completely. I do not care if anyone's offended. I am, pacing,
Yeah.
the perimeter of the room, checking corners and,
So Elena finds a spot on like a kind of slopey couch thing with like a back, like a fainting couch kind of thing. Finds a spot, kind of perches, skirt arranges perfectly without effort. Like this is all just stuff that she knows how to do without even thinking. And then she just watches Carrie. Like, what are you doing?
what I have to.
Wait,
What a weird question.
Are you looking for something? It just sit.
I will not sit. I will instead find a corner or somewhere where I can have my back to a wall but still be facing the door. I am on guard. But looking calm somehow. Like, I'm a statue.
Yeah. You take the rogue's seats, sitting in the corner near the exit. Amazing. After a few minutes, it does not take long before you hear quick, heavy footsteps coming from down the hall. You see, rapidly turning the corner is the Dame of Thorns herself. If a bit disheveled, but not really having a care as to who sees her in this way. It appears she was maybe in the middle of a morning training. She is a knight, after all, not a noble lady. Dame Cersei enters, dressed in casual clothing with a leather strap across her chest, holding a beautiful long broadsword across her back. She has sort of like a shaggy pixie haircut that is like a very, very pale ashen blonde with very pale, like ashy blonde eyebrows and eyelashes to match, with like mid-tone, very freckled skin. She enters quickly, holding her arms out in sort of a glad, extravagant greeting. Welcome, Lady Monson. I was hoping you'd stop by. I did not expect this early, but it is always a pleasure.
Of course.
Crosses over, kiss on both
Apologies.
cheek.
Mwah. Of course, dear. So lovely. Apologies for the early. We got started a bit early and really wanted to get out of the rat's nest as quickly as possible.
Oh,
I always forget how smelly it is down there.
When Dame Cersei entered, Sage also rose from her seat and just gave a very shallow, almost like not well practiced, but not super deep and formal, like kind of curtsy nod, like, hello, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do when a noble walks into the room.
she shakes your hand vigorously. Once again, kisses on both cheeks as in a form of greeting, greeting you very warmly and in a very friendly manner. And you are?
Sage Xenius, lady, it's a pleasure. I travel with the Darkforge Coven. Happened to meet Lady Alina. And of course, I think that actually is an in-character slip-up. Sage does not have much patience for formalities, but knows they are expected of her.
Glancing around the room, looks over to Caradwyn, makes no move to greet her if Caradwyn does not make a move to greet her, and just kind of stands there and stares at you for a moment.
I will have risen from my seat, no bow or curtsy, just to stand. It is a lovely weapon you carry, my lady.
I like to think so. Here, she undoes the latch on the front of the leather strap and calls one of the attendants over and has them take it off, so she's not sitting here in this lovely meeting, arms to the teeth. And crosses over and plops down heavily on one of the seats and waves over another attendant, ordering a round of small sandwiches and tea for everyone. So, I must say I am very pleased to have you here, Lady Monson. As I said, there's a matter I wish to discuss, the details of which I cannot expand upon too much quite yet. But if
How
I could just
intriguing.
bend your ear for a moment, I think that would suffice.
I'm always at my lady's service. We've had some interesting times in the past. Always want more.
So, to get right into it, she eases back into the seats. Her initial greeting was one of glee and friendliness, very warm and very open. As she settles back into her seat, you see she settles into her position. This is not a lady of nobility. This is a lowborn turned knight due to her prowess. She is very good at what she does, and she did not earn the name the Dame of Thorns through battle alone. She has a very practiced tongue. That is something you are very well aware of as you see the expression on her face change. So, just some general thoughts to open the conversation. You're familiar with these rites of ours. One that highborn like us, well, highborn like you, made, such as I. These rites that apply to us, different from those of casual status here in the Empire.
You know I am.
What are your thoughts?
You know I'm familiar with them. And her face is like, for those who are aware, there's a tension there that wasn't there before.
She, casually looking down at her nails, holding them up against the lights.
I would say you're one of the few who do know how well I know of those rites.
People think of the rites of retribution as nothing more than simple revenge, a way to show your power over others, an easy way to get what you want. But it is much more than that, I like to think. It is a tool, a bargaining chip, in a way. People like to think so simply these days when it comes to the rites, especially the one of retribution. Think outside the box. That's what we need to do. Not to sour the conversation with such ugly matters, however. 'Tis not a good day to weigh down our thoughts with such an idea. 'Tis relevant, however, to bring it up.
I'm listening.
Tell me, how's your family?
Well, as far as I know. How's yours?
Oh, my family all rest easily in their graves down in the swamps of Ancairn. But, well, enough, as can be imagined. I have to imagine that someone of your age, your status, your height in our society, they must be bothering you to find a suitor, are they not?
Of course they are, but I'm happy in my library.
Such is the way of things. I myself, of course, have had many, many fine suitors thrown my way. Men, women, all people alike. My attendants on the regular, finding those they think fit for me to marry. Calling it a mutually beneficial alliance.
And yet you can stand alone.
I do. Because I believe there is a way to have said mutually beneficial alliance without the logistics and issues of the marriage thing in the first place. Don't you agree?
Without a marriage, there does need to be some form of trust, some form of contract.
I think those are two very different words, Lady Monson. Trust and contract. There have been many contracts struck without trust, many alliances of trust based on words alone.
Can I insight check to see if she is... If this is going where my brain is thinking it's
This
going?
fucking noble double speak.
Yeah, is she
This fucking
Yeah.
noble double
And I
speak.
just want to like insight check. Is she trying to imply without saying it out loud?
Sage has
that
been
maybe
sitting
there
here
should
this whole
be-
time, just internally being like, "Stop beating around the fucking bush."
Is she trying to imply that the two of them should be allied, possibly in a somewhat permanent way, even if it's not a marriage? I will insight check this if you would like.
Yeah, absolutely. Insight.
Great. All right.
Wanna insight check the Dame of Thorns?
Be my fucking
I
guest.
am
love it.
insight checking the Dame of Thorns, see if I understand what she is trying to say. Where is my insight? Come on, there it is. Okay, it's not great. Ooh! 21.
21. A very excellent insight roll.
But it's the Dame of Thorns.
There you have it. You peer into her eyes, into her face. She is very, very good at what she does. It's part of the reason why you had your friendship in the first place. She's a useful person for you to know. She wears an easy smile with steely eyes that betray no emotions other than those that she wants people to see. With that high of an insight, you do determine that she is hinting at something larger, something definitely involving you personally, not your house, not your family, you. What that is exactly, you cannot discern at this moment. There is a tourney to happen. A Dream's Crest tourney. In little over a month's time, maybe more. I can't be helped to look at the calendar these days. They've called upon me, as normal, to represent House Shroudmore in a cavalier battle. Something to praise our new sovereign. I, as always, will attend and sweep any competition that dares to face me. As normal, of course.
As always.
I would like you to be there. Not as a representative of House Lindaris. I would like you to be there as someone for support directly for myself.
You wish me to stand as your consort in this?
In a way. What I wish for is for the public to see a member, an unwed, highly qualified member of House Lindaris, on my side. Maybe not hanging off my arm, but showing their full support.
Does this have to do with the duty owed due to the right of retribution?
She just glances over at you, Sage, with a smile. There's been no slaying, no wrong done to either Shroudmore or Lindaris from the other side. No reason to call for a right of retribution now, is there?
But was there one in the past? The right does not require that somebody be put into slavery or execution. It can also be somebody being accepted into the fold, does it not? So is this a case of that?
Her smile gets a little bit broader as you pick apart the intricacies of the right of retribution. Glancing over at Alina. Shroudmore is a very powerful house, Lady Monson, as I'm sure you know. There are events to unfold, events caused by my hand directly. I want to make sure they go well, and I want to make sure that she who assists me also gets something out of it. Like I said, mutually beneficial alliance without the wedding veil.
Clearly, you have some benefit that would come of this to you. What would be the benefit to me? Or my house, for that matter?
I would. There will be a time, sometime after the tourney, that I shall call upon you to handle a problem for you.
That's vague.
I offer my services in exchange for you offering your name, your face. As I said, the details not all shall be divulged quite yet. Simply, I ask, you attend the tourney, you show support for a dear friend, someone closely associated with House Lindaris, make it known our friendship. And in time to come after the tourney, I will repay the favor.
Must my support be exclusive? There's always the chance my brother might wish to compete in the tourney. Not that he'd do any well, but he still might want to try.
Oh, he could, but then again, I think it would be much, much easier for the crowds to swoon over myself than your brother.
I mean, no contest. I didn't say it, but no contest.
There is a mighty alliance to be had. One that's, I hope we can begin building this day. The recent change in leadership of the Empire has brought about many opportunities for change. That is something I do not intend to pass me by. She says this, unlike all of her conversation before, not with a charismatic smile, but with a calm face of assurity.
That is true. And if anyone can shepherd change, it's you. But I hope that you will keep in mind not just who is in power, but what is done with that power. To change one and not the other would be a shame, surely.
Oh, absolutely. Nonetheless, she gets to her feet slowly and folds her hands in front of her. Many pieces will be moving. One more question before I depart from you. House Lindaris is on the side of Shroudmoor, of course, the 9th house of the Empire, aligning themselves with their betters. What side is Lady Monson on?
DM, quick question. When Lady Munson said, is she referencing me or my mother?
She's looking directly at you. She's talking to you.
Well, that will be interesting to find out, won't it?
Think outside the box, like I
Dame
said.
Cersei, if I may, before you go. Was inviting us as Alina's companions a matter of politeness, or is there a reason that you wanted us to be aware of this as well?
Oh, I wanted to see the people that had a hand in the events that unfolded in the Rat's Maze. Mostly curiosity, wanting to see the faces of Lady Alina Monson's new friends. She's a very dear companion of mine. I want to make sure she's keeping exquisite company.
Does she know who or what I am?
Give me an insight check.
22.
22. She moves and everything she does, none of it is without purpose. Looking directly at you as she leaves and taking a moment to really drink in, doing this for Sage as well, both of you, as people she does not know. To really drink in you, your face, how you stand, what you carry, what you wear, everything. It is not without purpose. Whether or not she knows what or who you are is unclear. One thing that is extremely certain is she is taking in every single detail of you that she can now that you are standing before her, and she does not seem the type to forget.
I thank you for your hospitality, lady.
That's nice.
let her head out.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't say anything.
She gives a bow to each of you, bowing particularly deep to Lady Alina Monson, kissing the back of her hand before standing straight again, calling the attendant over that has her sword, and putting it back across her torso. Now then, I have a tourney to prepare for. Victory awaits the Dame of Thorns, as always. I bid you adieu.
You should send your colors to my home before the tournament, in case I decide to fly them.
Just a deep chuckle as she leaves.
And as she goes, like once she leaves the room, it doesn't drop fully because we're still in her territory, but there's like there's a shift in Elena's stance, just slightly, once she goes.
Insight check.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A natural one.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'll roll something just to... Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great roll, but still beats a 1.
As soon as Dame Cersei seems to be out of earshot, I am turning to Alina and asking, so is it truly a request, or through some sort of previous right of retribution are you obligated to do as she asks?
I know of no obligation.
Right.
The right of retribution does extend in interesting ways, but no, we are just friends. Or acquaintances, at least. I'm not sure anyone is her friend.
Forgive me, the proximity of the topics of contracts with the right made me suspicious. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I'm not a fan of that right in particular. Shall we?
I think it'd be insane to be a fan of it, if at all.
Andy, I'm sorry. I know you were raising your hand earlier. I was trying to find a good moment to cut you in. But if there was anything you were trying to do at the beginning of all of that, I'm fine kind of retconning that a bit.
I was gonna ask if perhaps that parlor has a window big enough that someone on a rooftop could have been reading lips.
Absolutely. It depends on your perception check how well you were reading lips.
Sure.
What was your original perception check?
My original perception was 17, my passive is 22.
Okay. I'll have you roll again a dedicated perception check to really hone in on this conversation in particular.
Okay. 14. So that's okay.
14, yeah. You, just based off general lip reading, you can discern a good portion of that conversation. You kind of understand the posturing that went on, the sort of, as Rosie said, the noble double speak that was happening. And the main mentions that you are able to discern is mention of the tourney, the Dream's Crest tourney, and the right of retribution was brought up peculiarly, strangely. Can't speak today, y'all. But those are like the big mentions that Olwen does take note of. So, for your other general perception check you did as your people watching,
How many rich people do I uncover are having an affair?
So with your 17 perception, you are able to pick up on 3 different affairs, 2 different duels, and 2 different illegitimate childs that were recently brought into the world. You now have information on. All very juicy information that people will pay a hefty sum for. You just have to get it to the right people, which fortunately you know.
I think Owen's on the roof listening to the conversation in the parlor. And while he is writing stuff down in his notebook, he is spending a good chunk of it just making gagging noises to himself.
It's 9 a.m. and you're already hearing about all of these affairs in excruciating detail and 2 bastard children. And you're dude, it's still the fucking morning and the sun's not even up. Yeah.
Chewing on my garbage moss, I have to listen to this.
Amazing. Anything else from our Dame Cersei party before we cut back over real quick?
I'd love to try to steal an ashtray on the way out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me sleight of hand.
19.
You pocket what is it's the size of it's a large chess piece almost. It's a little golden lion carving.
Stunning.
It's a paperweight. It has no purpose other than to just show off, here's a solid gold thing I have.
Yeah, it's an excess display of wealth, and I want
Yeah,
it.
you take it. Amazing. We need to keep an eye on Caradwin going into people's houses.
Well, did anyone see me?
I don't know. You'll find out later.
Because
It's not my problem unless they paid me to lock the shit down.
Yeah,
so does it matter?
Yeah. I like the full body recoil Grace had.
Passes perception 15. There's no way I would know. So
Yeah,
no
I
idea.
don't know, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a whole 11, but even if I did, I don't know that I would have stopped her. So
Yeah, stuff just goes missing sometimes. It's fine. Amazing.
that's why you need to hire me.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
You guys are gonna have a new hustle going on.
there's just a
Oh my
shelf
god.
within the Vardo from Mardo that at some point it's like a tchotchke shelf, and like I feel like at some point Alina's gonna be like, that teacup looks really familiar.
Where did that come from? Hang on. Oh, canon. There's a shelf full of Caradwin's thievery. Oh boy, amazing. So with that extremely fun, slightly tense conversation, let's go back over to another fun, tense thing that's happening here in the Upper City. Kuvos, Ushed Grumeno is here on the ground, unmoving, in a ruined office.
Well, fuck. And he kind of looks back at Suda. Well, this was who I was looking for.
I'm assuming that our friend is no longer with the mortal realm.
Shakes his head.
Glancing around, are there any obvious signs that would indicate what kind of attacker it was?
Yeah, so
Like claw marks or
even
stuff like
without without doing like a dedicated investigation, the biggest things that you notice within this scene is it was a bloody affair. There is blood spilled, seemingly from Ushed. He is covered in what looks like a combination of lacerations, either from weapons or claws, and weirdly a couple almost like bite marks. They are small. None of them are large wounds or very deep. They are just so plenty that the combination of all of these dozens of smaller wounds seem to have taken him down. That is what you see upon first glance. Any more would require dedicated investigations.
Kuvos will let Suda look into that.
Mhm.
He's looking for documents. He wants to know what's going on with this Selja shipment, whether he can hear it from the mouth of the guy he was supposed to hear it from or not.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Let's see. Okay. You take a look around. Go ahead and roll me investigation. Suda, are you investigating the body or the office?
I'm not terribly concerned about what killed him. More, is it still here? Are we still in danger?
Yeah, absolutely. All of you as well. Just give me
So,
general.
I guess I'm going to kind of clear the building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead and do an investigation just to kind of go through and clear the building, see if there's anything else that's picked up. Kuvos, what was your roll?
That was an 8.
Oh,
So
shit.
not so hot.
Picking through a lot of the... It's less so being unable to really locate the documents. It's being unable to piece together from what is here destroyed. A lot of documentation has been torn and shredded. A lot of it is, from the upturned desk is scattered across the ground, and it looks like there was a lot of, foot traffic going over them. So a lot of the documentation here is muddied, bloodied, in other ways destroyed, shredded from just feet and weaponry and just the general scuffle, which kind of destroyed the environment. Really, the only meaningful documents you find with an 8 investigation is you see some that were from the Conclave, like confirming the shipments. But it's a lot of stuff that you already knew because it was stuff that came from the Conclave. So nothing really new or substantial. Suda, what was your role?
12.
12. Taking a look through the building, right off the bat, there is nobody else within this building. None of the other rooms are really torn apart. From what you can determine, it was some sort of chase attack that led from the front to the back and ended in the back office where Ushed's body has been found. All the other rooms seem still put together and normal. Nothing really too out of the ordinary.
Okay. So I will play bodyguard, more or less, to Kuvos until he has his answers, whatever information, things that he needs. That but Suda's got to drop the very obvious pun. It looks like your friend's a dead end.
You could say that again. Did you see anything about where this person thing went?
Probably back out the front door. Came in front, attacked your friend, and left out the same way.
Alright. I'm not finding anything that... All these documents are ruined, and he kind of just tosses them back into the pile of everything. I can't get a good read on anything that it was looking for, if anything, or if it was just here to kill him.
Do you know if he had any associates, any friends that we could ask next?
That's my next question to the Conclave. I need to go make a call. I will... Give me just a moment to do that. And then we should figure out where everyone else is. I don't know if this is something that's getting solved in a day.
Right. I will check outside. Maybe somebody on the street saw something.
Sounds good.
Great.
And he'll step into an empty office, not wanting to stand right next to the dead body while he calls Magister Kier.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you say to the Magister?
Magister, Upper City is open. Tracked down Ushed. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Someone or something attacked him. Any associates to follow up with?
I think that's about exactly 25. Someone can correct me.
That's exactly
Someone
25.
can correct me later
Yeah.
if not. The message goes through, and it is a long stretch of several minutes before any sort of response comes in. And it finally does, with a very familiar fuck. Well, does he have the Conclave key on him still? I will look into other associates.
At that question, Kuvos would go back and check the body.
Okay, yeah. I will say something Kuvos is aware of. Conclave key, basically just like a sign of alliance, allegiance, essentially. To use kind of on the down low to recognize other Conclave allies. So you go back. The body is laying face down, covered in the various wounds. One arm is kind of on the ground splayed out beside him. Another is kind of tucked underneath him, kind of like against his chest, and his face is like on its side with like the dead eyes staring at the wall.
Okay. Would he be wearing the key around his neck, or like where is it typically worn that Kubos can check?
It's like a little metal sigil. Some wear like necklace, some keep it in their pockets. It really depends.
Okay. He'll start checking over the body for it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. You kind of have to roll him over a little bit, and it's kind of like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. This slightly mutilated corpse. What's your investigation?
That's a 12, slightly
12,
better.
slightly
than what I
better.
got before.
We'll take slightly better. With a 12, there are two obvious parts that would be hard to not notice. I think you'll see with a 12. The intricacies of the wounds, how long he's been dead, things like that escape you with that low of an investigation. You do find the conclave key within like his breast pocket, attached to a small golden chain. It's just a small disc with a rendition of the conclave symbol on it, something to keep on the down low. It seems almost disguised as like a pocket watch in a sense. So not exactly, like a hidden spy or anything, just kind of keeping his allegiance on the down low, given his residence here in the city. So you retrieve that. The second more obvious thing you find is parchment clutched tightly in his fist, the one that was tucked underneath him against his chest.
Okay. Is the document still readable at all?
Yeah, you have to kind of pry his fingers open a little bit and take it out. There's some blood splattered across it, but the majority of it is still pretty legible. The bits of words that are kind of blotted out, you can kind of assume just based on context.
Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and read to you what this parchment says.
Oh, goody.
The letter reads, Ushed, your hesitation speaks volumes. It took much convincing from my superiors to allow you to take over this corner of the market. Shall your mistaken beliefs take my head as well as yours? You carry too much sympathy for the enemy. Do not value their lives more than your own. Do not think me heartless. Everything we do is for the survival of our people. We will not gain any traction in this civil conflict without death. And I plan on ensuring the majority of the death is on the side of our enemy. If you have further concerns, I implore you, come to me directly. So not as to start by going over my head. Please expect the next shipment before the season is done. Once it is received, wait for word from Knight Julian. Stay low. Sidestep. So the two names mentioned, of course, were at the very end, Knight Julian, and the kind of signature Sidestep was the name you can see that was left behind. Definitely an alias of some kind.
Mm-hmm. How do you spell Julian?
Julian, Julan.
He'll go ahead and pull back out the sending stone and send to Magister Kieran. Still has the key. Was holding a letter signed with alias Sidestep. Looks like someone caught on. Any info?
Okay.
I think that's 25, maybe.
You have about 5 left.
Oh,
if my
5
count's
left?
correct.
Then he'll just add on any, like, instead of just any info yet.
Gotcha. You get a response back pretty quickly this time. I can't say the name's familiar. I will look into it. Keep the key close. I should have given you one anyways. reach out to anyone you can for information yourself.
He'll sign off with a very quick, understood, I'll see what I can find
Yeah.
out. Leave it at that. Keep the key in a very close breast pocket,
Yep.
kind of similar to where Ushad had
Yeah,
it.
you have this disguised
Oh.
conclave pocket watch now.
Mm-hmm. And he'll walk back out to Suda.
Suda went outside to kind of do a bit of canvassing of the area. You stand from the body, and as you turn towards the door to exit out onto the streets, your heart jumps into your throat at the sight of someone standing casually leaning in the doorway, scaring the absolute shit out of you, only for you to kind of collect your thoughts and realize that you recognize this figure, especially due to the transparent nature of their form. The strange, unknown man that appeared to you when your staff first came in your possession. This tall, broad-shouldered man, his features are a little bit blurry. It's hard to pick out the exactness of his face, his form. You just see he is a tall, warrior-like figure. And though the colors are all correct, he is just slightly transparent, almost like a ghost. And he's just watching as you turn to leave. What are you doing? What is the time wasted here?
What do you mean, what am I doing? What are you doing here?
I can't really go anywhere else now, can I? He says, flicking ahead towards your staff.
No, I can't. You can't. But I'm in the middle of something. I'm really not looking to talk to whatever the hell you are right now.
Right, you're doing some investigation. He enters the room fully, kind of pacing around, trying to kick things out of his way, but his foot just phases through, again, like a ghost. Doing your little investigations, your little quests for this wizard bullshit. You're not going to get anywhere by doing things this way. You know that, right? There's work to be done, and it certainly won't be here in some one-off office of some shithead courtier.
And what work is that?
Maybe, if you sit for a moment and actually listen to what your wiser elders have to say, we can figure it out. I will not waste my breath if you will not heed my words, child.
Well, maybe if the first time you didn't come at me screaming, we wouldn't have had this problem, now would we?
Oh, forgive me for the shock of waking up in some boy's pack on his back in the middle of nowhere. Last I saw, we were underwater. What the fuck happened?
I lived underwater.
Yeah!
That's what happened.
What the fuck happens there? One thing, we were underwater in the deep dark, and next thing I know, the sun's in my fucking eyes.
Well, forgive me for ruining your ghostly eyes.
Thank you, as you should apologize. Now,
I don't have a lot of time.
ugh.
If you're gonna say something, say it.
Set time aside. Next time you rest. We need a proper conversation. There's things to happen, things to be done. As I said, work to do! But not here. No, this man's blood covering the walls. Though it reminds me a bit of home, it's not the most welcoming environment for a calm and friendly discussion.
Definitely not.
Ugh.
Fine. Tonight, I'll find somewhere to step away,
Good.
and we'll talk.
Good. Now, then, I am going to try to pretend that the eternal torment that is my existence is not true. Good day.
Well, good luck with that.
Steps into the wall and disappears.
Huge eye roll from Kubos before he looks back at the staff that's been resting essentially in a holster on his pack and sighs and walks out to where Suda is standing.
Fantastic. going out to reconvene. Various errands are being completed, more questions to be answered, even more still now. I think that is where we're going to end today. The arrival of
I have questions.
mysterious figures and tense conversations with nobles whose intentions are not quite yet known, and now a murder mystery on top of it, and it is not even sunrise yet. So, with all that in mind, I thank you all very much for joining us for this next episode of Magnificence. I do sincerely hope you enjoyed and you continue to stick around as our party continues to investigate all of these various mysteries and questions. Have a wonderful time. Everyone take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
До свидания.
Bye.